Hi, my name is Stephen Apple, and today I'll be presenting on UV LED-based charge management experiments using the UF torsion pendulum. So my colleague Anthony Dávila has a pre-recorded presentation dedicated to the UF torsion pendulum, so I'll just give a quick overview of the pendulum apparatus, and you can watch his presentation for a more in-depth look. So the UF torsion pendulum is a testbed for LISA gravitational reference sensor technology. It consists of a crossbar assembly suspended by a 50 micrometer in diameter, 1 meter long tungsten fiber. The crossbar has 4 hollow gold-coated aluminum LISA test mass mockups at each of its ends. You can see 2 of them here, and the other 2 are inside their respective electrode housings. The test masses that are inside the electrode housings are electrically isolated from the rest of the torsion member using quartz rings. And our current facility setup has a simplified sensor and a recently installed LISA-like sensor. The simplified GRS consists of test mass, corresponding actuation, sensing, charge control, and housing components. And it includes 6 electrodes for 3 degrees of freedom in sensing and actuation. I'll go into a little more detail about the LISA-like sensor a little later on in the presentation. Our torsion pendulum facility is largely based on the design of the University of Trento facility, with a few differences being that our crossbar assembly has longer arms at 22 centimeters, and we also have a laser interferometer for differential position readout of our test masses, in addition to our capacitive readout. So today I'll be mainly talking about UV LED-based charge management experiments we've conducted with the torsion pendulum. We can measure the charge on the test masses in our pendulum facility by applying equal and opposite sinusoidal voltages across the sensitive axis of the pendulum. And we can measure the response of the pendulum at this measurement frequency, which will be proportional to the charge on the test mass. The simplified GRS has 3 UV light injection ports. One port shines light at the test mass at an angle of incidence of 65 degrees. Another shines light at the electrode housing with an angle of incidence of 75 degrees. And the third UV light port shines light parallel to the test mass and electrode housing surfaces. So the plot shown here is a charge management experiment using the simplified GRS, where we demonstrated DC charge control. So on the y-axis, we have test mass potential due to charge, and on the x-axis, we have time in seconds. So in this experiment, we started by getting a baseline charge measurement. We then shine light through the electrode housing port to move the charge negative. Then we shine light through the test mass port to move the charge positive. And then again, shine light through the electrode housing port to move the charge negative again. So we've also performed a number of experiments using pulse light charge control, where rather than switching between UV light ports to shine light at a particular surface for charge control, as with DC charge control, we instead modulate the UV light with the 100 kilohertz square wave, synchronized with our 100 kilohertz injection signal used for capacitive readout. And then we can change the duty cycle and the phase of the UV light relative to the injection signal to control the magnitude and direction of the photoelectron current. So for these initial experiments with the simplified sensor, we used a prototype charge management electronics board that allowed us to synchronize the pulsed UV light with our injection signal and change relevant parameters such as the phase, amplitude, and duty cycle of the signal driving the UV LED by adjusting trim pots on the electronics board. So this plot shows a demonstration of pulse light charge management. And again, it is a time series of the voltage due to charge. So in this experiment, we first shined pulse light through the test mass port in phase with our injection signal to move the charge positive. Then we changed the phase of the UV light so that it was completely out of phase with our injection signal and moved the charge in the negative direction. We conducted a number of experiments using pulse light charge control with a simplified sensor. One set of experiments was aimed at finding the test mass equilibrium potential as a function of the phase offset between the UV light and the injection signal. And the motivation behind this set of experiments was that many of the proposed modes of operation of the CMS require the test mass potential to be brought close to 0 volts. And better understanding the physics of the test mass equilibrium potential will allow for better tuning of relevant parameters like the phase offset of the UV light with respect to the injection signal and the ideal ports of illumination. So we conducted a set of experiments both for both for the test mass and electrode housing port, where the test mass equilibrium potential was found at a number of different phases, ranging from between completely in phase and completely out of phase with our injection signal. And that's what's shown here with the points in these plots in blue being our experimental data. So on the y-axis, we have our equilibrium potential, and on the x-axis, we have our V injection, which is effectively the phase offset of the UV light with respect to our injection signal. So the left plot is data for shining light through our test mass port, and the right plot is for data for shining light through our electrode housing port. And the red curves on these plots show predictions of the equilibrium behavior from a numerical model of the discharging process. And today I'll mostly be talking about our experimental data, so I won't go into any great detail on the modeling work. But if you are interested in learning more about this numerical model, our lab has just published a paper in the Physical Review Journal that goes into more detail about the numerical modeling of the discharging process, which explains our experimental results in terms of UV light distribution in the sensor, relevance, surface work functions, and quantum yields. So I put the information for that at the bottom of the slide if you're interested in taking a look at that. And also my colleague Samantha Parry has a pre-recorded talk that discusses numerical modeling of the discharging process. So you can also take a look at that if you are interested. Another set of pulse light experiments we conducted with the Simplified sensor was looking at the charge rate at 0 volts test mass potential for a number of phases of UV light with respect to the injection signal. The motivation behind this set of experiments is that one of the LISA requirements on charge control is that the test mass potential be kept below 70 millivolts, and these experiments will help us understand the discharging behavior in this range of test mass potentials. So again, we have data from our Simplified sensor with shining light through the test mass and electrode housing ports respectively. And on the y-axis, we have the charge rate in volts per second. And again, we have V injection on the x-axis. So the data that I've showed up until now has been from experiments with our Simplified sensor, but recently we have installed a LISA light gravitational reference sensor and have begun conducting similar experiments with this more representative sensor. So the design of our LISA light sensor is based on the LISA Pathfinder GRS. So it has 18 electrodes, 6 injection and 12 sensing for 6 degrees of freedom in actuation and sensing. It's made from gold-coated aluminum with peak spacers and made at a low cost in comparison to an actual LISA GRS. It has 3 novel UV light injectors for UV LED charge management. Its interior faces are polished to a mirror-like finish, and we also have temperature sensors and heaters mounted on the faces of the GRS along the sensitive degree of freedom for use in temperature gradient experiments. We've also started conducting some preliminary charge management experiments with our LISA light sensor and this TRL4 charge management unit pictured here. The LISA CMS TRL4 board UV light unit has been designed to provide the full functionality and performance of the charge management device UV light unit in a laboratory setting. So the unit being used for the pendulum experiments has 3 UV light sources, which are all 250 nanometer wavelength crystal IS UV LEDs. The LEDs can be driven at DC or pulsed to an external input, which in our case, the reference signal is our 100 kilohertz injection signal used for the pendulum capacitive readout. Charge management parameters can be changed by telecommand from control software written by Myles. You can see a picture of the graphic user interface in the bottom left here. In DC mode, you can adjust the set current to get a corresponding UV power output from the UV LED. And in pulse mode, you can change the pulse current amplitude, duty cycle, phase relative to the injection signal, and the number of pulses per second. So our LISA light GRS has 3 UV light injection ports. The electrode housing port has a 75-degree angle of incidence to the electrode housing and is centered on one of our sensing electrodes. The AC, or steep angle port, has a 30-degree angle of incidence with the test mass and is positioned so light hits the test mass in the then reflects to one of our injection electrodes. And the test mass port has a 75-degree angle of incidence on our test mass and is also centered on one of our sensing electrodes. And for charge management experiments, each UV light injector on our GRS is connected to a corresponding output channel on the TRL4 unit. So these plots are showing some preliminary DC charge management experiments with the LISA light sensor. On the y-axis, we have test mass potential due to charge. On the x-axis, we have time in seconds. And both these plots are showing data from shining light at DC through the test mass port of our sensor. The first plot shows an experiment where the charge was negative to begin with, and then light was shined to move the charge in the positive direction until the test mass reached its equilibrium potential. And the second plot shows an experiment where the test mass potential was positive to begin with, and then light was shined again through the test mass port to move the charge in the negative direction until it reached its equilibrium potential. And from these time series plots, we can find the charge rate as a function of test mass potential and express that as apparent yield, which is defined as the net discharge current per photon injected into the system. And that's what this plot is showing. So the blue curve is the apparent yield for shining light through the test mass port, and was found using data from the previous slide. And we conducted similar experiments to what was shown on the previous slide with the electrode housing and steep angle light injection ports on our sensor. And we did this by, again, shining light through the respective UV light injection port, approaching the test mass equilibrium potential from both above and below. And from that data, we were able to find the apparent yield for those ports as well. So in addition to these preliminary DC charge management experiments, we've also started conducting some pulse light charge management experiments with the LISA light sensor. And this plot shows a demonstration of pulse light charge management on the LISA light GRS. So again, on the y-axis, we have test mass potential due to charge. On the x-axis, we have time. And for this experiment, we shine light through the test mass port at a 10% duty cycle with 50,000 pulses per second. And we essentially kept all of the charge management parameters the same, except for the phase offset of the UV light with respect to the injection signal, which we changed at the points marked on the plot. So at the beginning, we set the phase offset to negative 15 degrees to bring the test mass potential close to zero. We then changed the phase offset to negative 40 degrees to bring the test mass potential positive. Then we changed it to positive 60 degrees to bring the test mass potential negative. And finally, we changed the phase offset to negative 14 degrees to bring the test mass potential close to 0 volts. So future work will include continuing these pulse light experiments with the LISA light GRS. And these experiments will include looking at the test mass equilibrium potential versus phase offset, the apparent yield versus test mass potential for various phases of UV light, and also looking at the charge rate at 0 volts test mass potential for various phases of UV light. And we've also started performing some temperature gradient experiments on our LISA light GRS using the heaters installed on opposing faces of the GRS and the sensitive degree of freedom. And with these experiments, we will look at the temperature gradient induced sensor noise due to asymmetric outgassing, radiation pressure, and the radiometer effect. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you very much for listening.